I go to my full potential self because I studied with you at the academy. How does someone find and get to and be in their full potential self?
They use their imaginal selves.
Their imaginal self.
It's your imagination.
Yep.
It's almost the same because, like, just imagine a place of peace. Now, once you get in your place of peace, then you're outside of all the dialogues going on, all the pressures, and all the things that are wrong with the world around you, or whatever else you're worried about, and all those things. They disappear, and you can just be at peace. Mm-hmm. And in that environment of peace, you just invite, you imagine your full potential self being with you. Like mine's a beach in Maui when I first started this. And I would just imagine coming towards me on the beach, myself and my fullest potential. Well, that was interesting. Because he's not, like, he's much more complicated than I am, but much more loving, much more intelligent, much more present, much more capable, can handle anything. Who? Will you help me out? And guess what? Every full potential self will help every person out who asks. It's like the old adage, knock and the door will be opened. Mm-hmm. So you just imagine it, and you can sense it. You can use your senses because it's holographic. Mm-hmm. So we live in a holographic universe, and here's my holographic counterpart in hyperspace, and now I'm inviting my holographic counterpart to be with me in this, to help me team up with me in a way to now face whatever situation I'm facing. Mm-hmm. And so instead of trying to think it out, I become the problem. So if there's any schizophrenic in this world, I'm it. Mm-hmm. If there's any criminal, I'm it. But not in the sense of that's all I am. It's in the sense of being on and off at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's being in it and out of it at the same time.
Which is superposition.
It's superposition. So this will put you in a superposition where you can face any situation and find its solution. Mm-hmm. Now the reason that this is critical, and the reason the Academy teaches all these courses about this, is because the situation we're now facing is so serious. And so the temperatures are rising, and there's no way to stop them unless we really take some dynamic action. Mm-hmm. So therefore, this is a call to action, basically. So if you look at what's real, you can see that we have to deal with what is real.
Right.
And your linear mind will say, yeah, but, and all the yeah buts have been answered. Mm-hmm. The debate is over. And so the environmentalists agree that this situation is the most serious one we've ever faced, and the temperature is rising. And now with the Arctic tundra melting, the permafrost is melting, and it's made of organic stuff, and what's happening is it's giving off more methane and carbon dioxide than all the human pollution put together. Mm-hmm. So now we have the temperatures rising because of what we have done with our pollution, and now all of a sudden the tundra is tripling it. Mm-hmm. And so the temperatures are going to keep rising, and they're already higher than they have ever been in history that we can find in the snow or the ice of the ground or anything else. Mm-hmm. So it's already up there. And what's happening is all the ice is melting. Mm-hmm. So the ocean levels in the ocean are going to rise, and they're going to rise a lot. Mm-hmm. A lot more than people are really looking at right now. They're all trying to keep the public from panicking. But basically, 2/3 of the human population is now threatened within the next few years.
Mm-hmm. It's probably happening at a faster rate than most people are conscious of.
Well, even the UN's data was 10 years old, and in the last 10 years, like the Greenland ice is melting 30% faster now than it was then. The Antarctic ice cap is now disintegrating, and that's going to raise the ocean level 20 feet. Mm-hmm. And on it goes like this. So you look at that and say, well, I hope Dubai is really okay about adding more dirt.
And they're Palm Islands that may be underwater.
Sayonara.
You know? Well, I know that you have an amazing background, Dr. Woolf, and you've been all over the world. You're lectured, you're a recognized speaker, teacher. I know that your work has been mostly, for the most part, it's been in other parts of the world that you've worked with people. You've trained people in holodynamics. So I would like you to talk about the International Academy of Holodynamics and how can people who are wanting to transform, to go from that caterpillar to that butterfly? What can the International Academy offer?
Well, first of all, we have a unique position in the Academy because we understand most of the information coming in from the new sciences. And you know, it's funny because the world has learned more, the human race has learned more in the last few years than it did in all its history before. And so what we did is, well, how does that apply? Does it apply here and here and here and here? And so forth. And so whenever you have a problem that can't be solved, it's like, ooh, that's interesting. How do we do that one? And so we've been doing that, you know. And so we got all this body of information. Then we found out how to teach. We solved the problem by teaching people how to do it. But we have never taken this through into the internet and taught it to the people of the world. So what we're doing right now is we are expanding the program. So we have videotaped the 5 basic courses. And they take you from micro to more complex to more complex to more complex to macro. It just is, and it shows it's easy to learn. You learn it step by step. In fact, it's self-organizing. So what's happening is the transformation is occurring, and we're taking it worldwide. So you can take the courses online, and you can become an affiliate and help other people and just basically pay for your courses if you want by doing that, by just helping other people learn it. And what we've done is we've designed it so we can help eventually solve this major, major problem. That is the climate changes, the extreme climate changes that are on their way and are already here and far. So we're getting it so that everybody can have a sustainable community. And the solutions are right there. So we have lots of different things. Like we have a car that's electric, that has the electric wheels in, has the motors in the wheels. And it's going to have a supercapacitor battery. Now we know there are supercapacitor batteries that are 250 times stronger than the ones we're using. So we're going to find those and get them all involved. And then we put this contact paper. It's called contact paper, but it goes like contact paper. You just put it on the car for paint. And computers can run out any kind of paint job you want. It's great. But you put in the paint, you put this new micro solar cells that are 6 times more effective than the ones we're using. They were developed in Canada. And so they're micro, so you can see right through them. So they go in the paint. Now what you've got is a car that you're driving. How does it like this? A car. Never wears out, never has to be recharged, and never has to go into a gas station except to give it the grid. Now the grid goes on the front of the car, and whenever you're traveling through the atmosphere, it's collecting the pollution.
Oh my.
Do the same thing for trucks, trains, airplanes, anything. So now when you go into a gas station, you trade in your grid, they pay you for it, and then you have a new grid, and you just keep doing that. And when the grid gets full, you go into the gas station to empty it. That's the future that we see. We also see a way of taking all the waste that we have, the byproducts of our society, and instead of just burying them and really wasting them for future generations, we actually have to develop a retrieval process that produces more energy than it uses. So therefore you have electricity coming out of garbage and heat and so forth coming out. And then you have, if you wanted like a new car, you just take an old car and you put it through the remediation process, and it brings out 2 new cars.
Wow.
Because it's way more efficient, and they're electric and never have to be recharged. And on it goes like this. It's possible to retrieve 100% of all the stuff we put into the waste. So and I think we have a moral and ethical responsibility to create a sustainable community so that future generations can not only survive, but thrive.
Exactly.
And they have to have the resources to do that. So that's what the Academy is about. So we have all these different projects to develop these communities, and we're inviting everybody to come and be a part of that. So become an affiliate, and then that's how it happens. And just get on the website, holodynamics.com, and just start reading through it, and you'll see our courses are there, and what we're doing is there, and all the stuff we're doing is
it's all there.
It's all about life.
Yeah.
I have this I have to tell you something confidential. I have this affair, a secret affair. My mistress is the planet. I love her so much.
we won't tell anyone.
I love Affair with the Planet. She's wonderful.
Oh,
I love this planet. It's just a unique place in the universe, and we have know that we can be stewards of it.
Mm-hmm. And you know, my full potential self, when I go there, and I go there every day, and I focus, and when I'm thinking about a problem that I know the reason the problem shows up because there's a solution waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Is I know that we have the ability to do what we need to do to transform what we've created, because all the things that are happening right now is a problem with the solution waiting.
Right. It's part of the covenant.
It's part of the covenant.
And when you get to know your hyperspatial counterpart, your full potential self, she'll tell you. She'll share it, know what the covenant is.
I also know, too, that having studied with you, and I will continue to study with you, is that I know my full potential knows that your full potential knows what its life purpose is and why you're here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's good because it's all a part of the covenant and unfolding the potential that we came here to unfold. And people will still try to think it out, they'll still try to feel it out, but really the basic issue becomes, can you be present? To be present or not to be present, that's really the question.
Right. And I also want to thank you for taking the time to speak with us and to share and to basically talk about the work you're doing and the work that you're going to continue to do.
Well, every problem is caused by a solution. So therefore, let's go for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.